Hi everyone. So for my behavior change project, my client was N. He is a 5-year-old boy who has been diagnosed with autism. And I've been seeing him, but prior to starting the project, I'd been seeing him for a couple months in his home, primarily in the mornings. And his mom expressed some interest in working on developing his independence and completing his morning routine. So that is what my behavior change project focused on, and specifically I defined completing the morning routine as completing the following components of removing his pajama shirt, removing his pajama pants, putting on a shirt for school, putting on pants or shorts for school, and brushing his teeth. And basically what I did was for each of those components, I marked whether he completed the component independently or required prompting. And for each morning session, I collected data on each of those components and then calculated a percentage of independent responses, or the percentage of components that he completed independently. And during the initial baseline phase, he demonstrated very little ability to, or at least willingness or motivation to complete these steps independently. So at baseline, the average percentage of components completed independently was 0%. When we implemented the intervention, which was using a visual schedule that displayed each component of the morning routine and included little tokens that had fun little characters that he really liked. So cartoon characters like Sonic and Paw Patrol and superheroes and things like that. So for each component that he completed, he was able to choose one of those tokens and place it on the visual schedule next to the component that he had completed. So when we first implemented the intervention in that phase, which lasted for 10 sessions, the average percentage of components completed independently was 64%. So a lot higher than the average during the baseline. And because the study followed an A-B design, I retracted the intervention to collect a second baseline. And during the baseline, the average independence went down again to 8%. And that lasted for 5 sessions, followed by a second intervention phase that lasted for 10 sessions. And in the second intervention, his independence actually went up even more than in the initial intervention phase, to 84% of components completed independently. And one of the big takeaways from this project that I found is that behavior isn't always as black and white as it may seem in the books. I initially thought that his behavior of not completing the task independently or task refusal were due to escape, but the more that I worked with him and the more that we worked on targeting this goal, we found that there's a component of attention. And so we had to kind of rework the intervention and work in some more verbal praise and attention as reinforcement, in addition to using the visual schedule. But overall, it was successful, I would say, and unfortunately I am not continuing to work with this client. I'm actually moving to a different area, but he is receiving a new therapist who will continue with the intervention and also work on transferring the intervention to his mom, so that he doesn't need our services and is able to complete this morning routine with his mom and eventually without the help of any other individual. So overall, using the visual schedule worked really well for this client, and I think that it was tailored to him in using specific characters that were preferred by him was really helpful. So I think that, especially with the new therapist coming on board, that he really can learn to generalize this skill to other therapists and also in an independent setting. And of course, ultimately, that's what we want. We want to get to a place where our clients don't no longer need our services. And this is certainly a step in the right direction. So I'm glad that I had the opportunity to implement this intervention with him. Thanks for watching.